Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Just waiting for everybody to connect. Okay, we're good to go. So I'd just like to welcome Jenny, who will be doing her 3 mindset hacks for focus and success and the mindset quiz. We did pop the quiz in the chat box earlier, so if you've managed to do the quiz, that would be great. If you know what your archetype is, I guess. So I'll leave you with Jenny now. She'll be able to share her screen for you, and you'll be able to see what she's coming up with the mindset quiz. I'm going to leave you to it.
Thank you. I have just popped the link for the mindset quiz in the chat, so you can have a look at that if you want while we're doing it. Let me just try and get my presentation up. Right. Now, excuse me just for 1 second, because I've got to look down here to check everything is okay, because I'm doing it from a strange presentation deck, so it's not quite as easy as that. So, Rachel, if you give me a thumbs up in the chat, then you can hear me and you can see me. That would be great. Perfect. Brilliant. Right. Well, thank you. And a massive thank you to Rachel for inviting me tonight. I'm here to give you a few mindset hacks for focus and success. And I've also just launched a mindset quiz, which tells you about your mindset type and some tips on how you can get better success, better focus, better motivation, depending on your mindset type. So I will be sharing that a little bit later. So yes, hello, good evening. Who am I? I'm Jenny Donato. I am a mindset and business coach. I mainly help kind of mums in business to level up their mindset and grow their business so that they can reach their income goals without the burnout and the mummy guilt that sometimes us mums in business get. I'm also the host of a Facebook community, More to Me Than Mum, and the host of a podcast, Mindset and Methods, which I love doing. It's just so much fun. I'm also the creator of the Mindset Quiz, which I'll be telling you about in a bit, and the only transformational virtual spa in existence for ambitious mums to grow their business, called the Mind Spa, which I love working with ladies inside. So that's me. I always start my presentations with a little quote, and this is one of mine because I think it sums up perfectly what I think it takes to get success with whatever you are kind of wanting to achieve, whether that's to grow your business, whether that's to lose weight and become healthier, whether that's to succeed in a career, whatever success means for you. It's all about knowing what you want and believing you can get there. They're the 2 key things that a lot of people don't have. A lot of people go through their entire lives not really knowing what they will achieve and not really having the belief to be able to kind of really go for it. And those 2 things are all about mindset. So when we talk about mindset, businesses, 80% of businesses fail because of the mindset of the people in charge, not because of strategy, not because of method, not because of tricks and marketing and sales techniques, not because of anything like that. 80% of businesses fail because of mindset, because they don't have the mindset to adapt and grow in the way that they need to. They don't have the self-belief to take the scary action that they need to get to overcome hurdles. So, you know, it's really important to nurture your mindset. And that's why I am here tonight. So for me, success is about knowing what you want and believing you can get there. So what's in this session? This session is all about mindset hacks for focus and success. Now, I've just noticed that I don't have a clock on this screen, so to check the time, I have to look down here. So if I keep looking down there, that's what I'm doing. So excuse me if I'm doing that. But I've got 3 mindset hacks for you tonight for focus and success, whatever success means to you. And I would really encourage you to think, okay, what does success mean to you? And I'll talk a bit more about that in a bit. So we are going to be understanding what the term mindset actually means. I'm going to give you my definition from fixed to growth to a success mindset. We're going to be talking about identifying self-limiting beliefs. It's something I do a lot of with clients and inside my groups and memberships, etc. We're going to be talking about reprogramming your inner voice and setting your subconscious sat nav, which it's kind of my trademark, the subconscious sat nav. I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about that. And we're going to be doing the mindset quiz. So if you've already done it, in the chat, please post what you've got. There's one of 4 animals that you can get, and none of them are negative, so please don't be scared. Give it a go and we can chat about the end. So let's dive into some tips. My first tip is knowing what the word mindset means, because we hear a lot of people talk about mindset or mindfulness or all of these things. It's like you need to decide what your definition of mindset is going to be. So here's my definition of mindset. In the very simplest of terms, that helps people kind of understand what I mean by mindset. There's kind of 3 things that we want to talk about. There's a fixed mindset, there's a growth mindset, and there's a success mindset. And a fixed mindset is where you kind of believe there's an external influence on you that has a, sorry, this screen is now frozen. So yeah, Rachel, you might need to ping me on Facebook. Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to crack on and hope that this is working. So fixed mindset, I can't do this. I'm just not a very confident person. That is like believing that you are not a confident person and it's out of your control. There's some external influence that says, I'm just not a confident person, so I don't have control over that. This is a fixed mindset. Whereas a growth mindset is all about, so I want to do this. I'm maybe not a confident person right now, but I just need to figure out the how. That's a growth mindset. Growth mindset is like anything is possible. So, you know, you can do anything, you just need to find the how. But a lot of people can sit in a growth mindset and still never achieve anything, never achieve what they want to achieve. And this is because we need to move also from a growth mindset into a success mindset. So let me just pause there for a second and check. Yeah, okay. I can see Facebook down there, Rachel. So anything goes wrong, please ping me on Facebook. So yeah, a growth mindset, a lot of people can sit in this growth mindset space, still never achieve anything, still never achieve direction or achieve what they want to achieve because they don't have a success mindset. So for me, a success mindset is a kind of a growth mindset with a direction. So you have to ask yourself, what does success look like for me? What do I actually want? And how do I use a growth mindset to get there? So a growth mindset is, yeah, I want to do this. I need to figure out how. But a success mindset is having the direction and the knowledge to know what you actually do want to achieve and using your growth mindset to help you get there. So let's move on to limiting beliefs. Like limiting beliefs are one of the biggest areas that I see clients really take a step forward with their business or their life or whatever it is. So what are limiting beliefs? What are self-limiting beliefs? These are just beliefs that we have that are either subconscious or conscious that hold us back in some way, that limit us in some way. So it's about what do we believe about ourselves and about our potential and about our surroundings and about our environment. What are the stories that we tell ourselves? And I'm going to go through kind of 4 examples in a minute. A lot of us have these around. The first example is money. So how were your parents in terms of money? Have you grown up with the belief that money is scarce and to make money is greedy? Like that is a really, really common belief. And that's really damaging when we want to grow a business. And maybe we have a belief around money that you have to work really, really hard and work really long hours to make money or to deserve the money to make. And the example I always use is the hairdresser. Like, do you go to a hairdresser for them to spend a long time and work really, really hard on your hair? Like, is that what you go to a hairdresser for? No, you go to the hairdresser to get an awesome haircut. And if they can do it in half the time with half the amount of effort, then brilliant. Like, especially for me, I have really thick hair. It takes ages to do my hair. If they can do it in half the time, I'm happy. So earning money is not about how long you work and how hard you work and how long hours you work. It's about the value you provide people and the results that you give them. So if you can find a way of providing tons of value and results in less time, then, you know, time isn't linked to money. And that's a massive limiting belief that a lot of us have, and that hopefully demonstrates kind of what I mean by limiting belief. So money is the kind of first area. Parenting is another area. You know, if you have a belief as a mum in business, maybe some of you mums in business, that you know, the mums should be mums at home, then there's a lot of mummy guilt if you are trying to grow your own business, or if you're an ambitious person at the same time. So do you have any beliefs around that is really holding you back from growing your business and earning more money whilst being a mum at the same time? So that's another one that I find comes up a lot in terms of limiting beliefs. I've just got two more. The next one is all about school. So if you were at school, you may be instilled with this belief that you had to have qualifications to be successful. And you just need to look at some of the mega successful people out there to realize that's not true. But a lot of people get stuck in that space where if they want to do something new, they feel like they have to have qualifications and qualifications and qualifications to be able to do it. And that's simply not true. You have to have the qualifications that you legally need to have, and you need to have the skills and experience that you need to deliver whatever it is you're delivering. But a lot of people get stuck in this kind of training phase where they just train and train and train and never do, because of this belief, you know, am I qualified enough? Am I experienced enough to actually be able to do this? And so that's another one. And the final one I wanted to just do an example of was a sibling relationship. So a lot of people, you know, if they're a younger sibling and they have an elder sibling who's maybe more academic than them, they have this feeling that I'm just not good enough. Like, I've always been playing catch up. And, you know, they have this ingrained belief that maybe they're not quite good enough, or they're not quite likable or not enough. And we have to really dig down into these backstories of our beliefs to start freeing ourselves from these beliefs and really understand, first of all, what triggers us, and then what the backstory is, and then what our alternative belief that, you know, we want to believe is. And that's the process. I mean, I could talk about this all night. I know I have to hurry up. But, you know, there's so much around limiting beliefs, but the most important steps are just noticing when they come up, seeing what if you can find the trigger to these beliefs, understanding what the backstory is for these beliefs, and then deciding what you want to believe instead, and really practicing that in terms of moving forward. So question yourself what's coming up for you as I speak about limiting beliefs. Maybe note it down and see where it goes in the next few days in terms of kind of noticing when it comes up and potentially what the backstory is. Because the biggest thing about limiting beliefs is just knowing what they are. That's the hardest bit. Once you know what they are, it's a lot easier to kind of move past them. So that's a really, really quick whistle-stop tour of limiting beliefs. And kind of my third sort of mindset hack, my first one and my second one and my third one are all kind of linked. But this third one is all about like listening to your inner voice. So you're listening to those limiting beliefs, and you're asking yourself, what questions do I ask myself? What's my inner critic really not helping me with? And there's some common ones here. So why do I never have enough time is one that a lot of people ask themselves, especially busy mums. Why does it seem so easy for everybody else? That's another one that comes up in terms of fitness, in terms of health, in terms of nutrition, in terms of business. You know, why is it so much easier for other people than me? Or, you know, or just a general one, like, why can't I figure this out? And the problem with asking yourself these questions is that there's something called confirmation bias. So confirmation bias is basically our subconscious trying to confirm our existing beliefs are true. So if you're constantly asking yourself, why do I never have enough time? your subconscious is working on the answer to that question. But is that what you want to do? No, absolutely not. You do not want it working on to try and find the answer to why do I never have enough time. You want it to try and find you some more time. So this is a great example of what I was talking about before. You need to find the trigger. And maybe the trigger is there's a book lying on the side that you haven't had chance to read in like 3 months or 6 months. And every time you see that book, you're like, why do I never have enough time to read that book? And that's the question we need to rephrase. So the rephrased question is, how do I find half an hour today just to get started on that book and read the first chapter? That's what we need to be asking ourselves, because then through confirmation bias, our subconscious is going to be working in the background on that question. And we could just find half an hour if we really wanted to read that book. So, you know, the why do I never have enough time? It confuses our subconscious because it's not about time. Everybody has 24 hours a day. It's what you do with it that counts, and it's the priorities that you give the certain tasks. So at the moment, you're just not prioritizing reading that book. But by giving yourself that question of, okay, why do I never have, you know, how can I find half an hour today just to get started on that book? Your subconscious is then prioritizing it as something to work on and use confirmation bias in your advantage, like to your advantage, to actually help you figure out the answer to that question. And we can do this with so many different areas of our lives. We can grow our businesses this way by pondering over like productive questions rather than non-productive questions. So, you know, this is really important. And once people really get their head around this, I've massively seen it change people's lives. So that's why I'm kind of sharing it with you tonight. So yeah, I would encourage you as an activity to write down like maybe 1, 2, 3 questions that you regularly ask yourself that really kind of punishes you and your subconscious, and just rephrase them into powerful questions. And every time they come up for you, just shift the question and try and ask yourself a productive question rather than an unproductive question. So some examples. Why do I never have enough time? Turns into, how do I create the time today to just get X done? Because it's not about the time, it's about the X that is triggering you to feel like you don't have enough time. So it's shifting the focus. And why can't I figure out what to do? It turns into, what do I love doing? What am I good at? And how can I turn that into an ideal job? You know, if you're struggling with what you want to do in the future, and, you know, asking yourself, oh, why can't I just figure out what I want to do? That's not going to help you. So it's about rephrasing that question and using it to your advantage. I hope that makes sense. And this is all about setting your subconscious sat nav, because if you take confirmation bias one step further and you give it a destination to work towards, it will work in the background on what you're focused on. So this is Tony Robbins saying energy flows where focus goes is so important. Like, what's your vision? What is your big dream? What's your destination? If you set a destination by having a clear 3-year plan or 5-year plan or 10-year plan, decisions become so much easier, because every time you hit a roadblock or every time you hit a decision, your brain will go, okay, does it help me get to where I eventually want to get to? If you don't have that vision, your subconscious is just going to be answering all those unproductive questions, driving round and round roundabouts. It's just not going to do you any favors. So this is really important. Having a vision, having a goal, having a 5-year plan, whatever you want to call it, helps you set your subconscious to help you get there. And that's what I call the subconscious sat nav. And again, you get your head around this, you use this to your advantage. I've seen it change lives, grow businesses into, you know, six figures and beyond. So yeah, really something to ponder on. So my final question before we go into the quiz is kind of, what is your big dream? If there's anything you take away from my presentation tonight, it is, what's your big dream? And focus on it, ponder on it, have a vision board, you know, because your subconscious will help you get there. So now we can go into the mindset quiz. This is something that I have created from me working with so many mums in business. So There's 4 different mindset types, and my quiz tells you what type you are and gives you some tips. So I'm going to break just for a few minutes now so you can take this quiz. I'm going to check this computer because it's not working for me. And yeah, please head to my website. It's www.jennydonato.com/the-mindset-quiz. Take the quiz. It will literally take you about 3 minutes to do, and then hop straight back here and I'll be going through the results for you. So Rachel, I'm just going to break there for about 3 minutes to let people do that. I'm going to try and figure this out. If you want to hop back on and say anything, please feel free to.
Hi there. Yeah, that's not a problem. We can, there's a button that we can click that just takes a break, that doesn't end the session. So we'll take a break and we'll come back when you've had a chance to have a look at quiz. Okay, just waiting for the last few people to connect and then we should be ready to go. Okay, we're now live.
Okay, welcome back, and hopefully you've had a little go at the mindset quiz. If you haven't had a chance to read the final page, that's fine, because I'm going to be going through that now. Yeah, Rachel, this laptop's just cut out on me, so please shout on Facebook if there's anything you want to do, but I will rattle through the results and then we can take a Q&A afterwards. You can ask me anything about the quiz. So yeah, the quiz was so much fun to make, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about at the end why I made it. But let's dive straight into your results, because a lot of people get their one result and then they're like, oh, what are the other results? And they really want to compare to see whether it was the most accurate one. And some people sit between the two, between 2 mindset types. So, you know, just have a listen to the other mindset types and think, you know, which one could you be? And yeah, for me, it's a really fascinating experience. So I hope that it is for you as well. So, oh no, sorry, I'll put the slide in first. So what's the point of the quiz and why did I make it? I just wanted to pause for a second and tell you that. And give you, well, actually, yeah, and give other people, if you're still taking the quiz, give you a little bit more time to do that. So this is a picture of me with my daughter and my son. The whole point of the quiz was kind of my journey into mindset. So my daughter was 2.5 and she was diagnosed with a really rare medical condition, which meant that she needed a big operation. And she needed some long treatments, and she needed a big cast from the waist down, which was really, really restricting for like 3-4 months. And then we had to kind of teach her how to walk, and it was horrendous. And I had never been in a position where any kind of disability had ever been in my family. It was a complete shock. We knew she was clumsy. She'd had a broken leg and a broken collarbone by the age of 2. But we were kind of just fobbed off. Oh, it's normal. She's just clumsy. We had a suspicion. We went private. And to cut the long story short, we got this really, really shock diagnosis. And within 20 minutes, I went from thinking I was a neurotic mum to having a toddler that I knew was going to have a major operation on her hip, and you know, a long course of treatment, and kind of lifelong treatment, really, potentially, for this medical condition. So my mindset was like, how are we going to cope with this? This is so unfair. Why did the NHS not spot this? I went down quite a negative spiral from this diagnosis. But to cut a very long story short, she had her operation. We spent a week in the hospital managing her pain. We got her home, and she woke up every morning with a smile on her face. She was in a massive cast from the waist down. We couldn't go swimming. We couldn't do all of the stuff that we did before, but she just wanted to have fun anyway. She wanted to find a way to just have fun. And by the end of 3 months, she'd actually learned to walk in this massively restricting cast and like waddle around. She wanted to go to soft play. We went down slides at soft play with her in this cast, and her mindset blew me away. And that started my obsession with mindset, because I thought if she can get through this, like anything's possible. And just the contrast between my mindset and her mindset getting through this massive ordeal was so contrast that I was like, what's the difference between me and her? And yeah, to cut a very long story short, that 2.5-year-old girl changed my life. I got into success mindset. I got into psychology. I started my business. I started a podcast. I did all of the things that I'm massively, massively proud of now. And yeah, all because of her. So that is my kind of brief story. And the reason I did the mindset quiz was just to highlight the power of mindset to other people and give them a tiny little slice of time, that 3 minutes, to go, okay, I'm going to focus on my mindset. Because if that sparks something for them to go down that route, to really nurture their mindset, I believe that's going to have a massive impact on their life. So that's why I created the quiz. It's just to give you a slice of time to stop and think about your mindset and maybe reprioritize you nurturing your mindset a little bit more than you did before. And if I've done that, then I've done my job. So that's the reason of the mindset quiz. And it's to have a bit of fun too. So let's go into some results. There are 4 types of mindset for me. There's a Shire horse. So a Shire horse, they are, you know, driven, they're task orientated, they keep going, they're strong, they're determined, they set really big goals, they know what they want to achieve. But maybe they're a bit stubborn, and maybe when they start moving in the wrong direction, they're not flexible enough to kind of go, okay, I need to change course, or I need to shift, or I need to stop and take a break and reevaluate. So this is what Shire horses are potentially not that great on. So some tips for Shire horses is really connect with your vision, like I was talking about before. Learn to focus on the result that you want to achieve and check that you're going in the right direction. And maybe get some accountability and chat with someone about your plan, just to make sure you're not just trotting off in the wrong direction. So that is a Shire horse. If you got Shire horse and that's you, hopefully that is accurate for you. Then we have the peacock, the lovely, lovely peacocks. They are so beautiful. They're so logical and detailed. They love a good plan. They are brilliant at what they do when they're in that confident space and they're really confident. They wouldn't call themselves a natural people person, but they often get really, really great feedback for what they do. And here's the tips for the peacock. Again, it's connect with your vision. This might be a theme going through all of them. But it's also try to schedule some time to actually do rather than just plan and learn. Peacocks can often get stuck in this space where they're planning and learning and they maybe don't have the courage to take that step and say, actually, I'm going to put myself out there a little bit at risk and do some actual doing. So this is where accountability to actually just get started and do is so important for peacocks, rather than sitting in this space of just learning and trying to perfect and trying to plan. So if you're a peacock, that might be a great tip for you. Then we move on to the meerkat, and the meerkats are really lovable, really creative, and really people. People persons. I don't know what the right term is there. People persons. And even though they're quite reserved, sometimes they're real likable characters, and they're really creative and really fun, and they're really brilliant at what they do, and they thrive on positive feedback. However, negative feedback really floors meerkats. They really kind of fear negative feedback or fear judgment, and that can hold them back. So, and it's, you know, they also find it difficult to shout publicly about their wins, which also makes marketing themselves and maybe making new friends in a personal situation or in a business situation, really getting visible. That's quite difficult for meerkat people. Sometimes they struggle with that. So tips for meerkats: connect with your vision. Again, that is really, really vital. Learn to stand proud of who you are and what you do, because if you're a meerkat, you're probably brilliant at whatever it is you do. You just don't quite realize it yourself. And share your wins, share the celebration, celebrate with people about the wins that you have, even if it pushes you out of your comfort zone. So those are typical meerkats. So if you're a meerkat, hopefully that resonates with you. I'd love to know afterwards. And finally, we have the gorgeous magpies. So magpies are really outgoing. They're really lovable. They're really kind of influential characters. They have really big ideas. They're great at what they do. They love the journey to achieve it, but they also love, you know, being with people and being part of other people's success. Like, that's really important for magpies. However, they can get a bit headstrong and they often wish they were a bit more organized. And I think we all suffer from a bit of shiny syndrome, which is where you're kind of on to the next thing before you've perfected or even seen the results of the last. But magpies struggle with this a bit more than most as well. So tips: connect with your vision. It's a common theme. Really, really think about what you achieve in your big dream. Learn to follow through with the boring stuff. Don't get distracted by the next shiny thing before you've finished and that kind of got results from the one thing that you were doing before, and get some accountability to stop you from being on to the next thing before you've finished the last thing. So those are typical magpies. And like I say, you can be a mix of a couple of mindset types, but I would love to see, I'd love to chat to you afterwards about what you've got and whether you think it was accurate, whether you think it was helpful doing that kind of process of that quiz. So that's me done for tonight. That is my summary. I did 3 mindset hacks. I taught you about my definition of mindset, identifying self-limiting beliefs and reprogramming inner voice, and then we went through the quiz. That's me done. You can find me in my Facebook group, which is called More to Me Than Mum. You can take a 14-day tour of my online membership at my website /Sparkle Salon. And you can listen to on my Mindset and Method podcast. But that is me done for now. I will stop sharing and hand back to Rachel.
Oh, that's brilliant. It's really funny because I can see in the chat that Catherine's put meerkat, and I don't know whether Catherine would agree, but I think that's absolutely Catherine. And I got the peacock, so I think I'm peacock as well. I think I can definitely see my bits in there. So it's really, really interesting. I can see how people can be mixers of the two, and I maybe if I'd have seen it, I might have thought I was the magpie, because I'm a bit of a shiny things. I'm very guilty of shiny things. It's like, oh, this is fun and this is fun, but yeah, I think peacock's definitely me.
A lot of us are shiny thing. I've got big shiny thing syndrome, but I'm a Shire horse too. So, yeah, shiny thing syndrome, and that's why I put in there. They suffer more than most, because a lot of people do shiny thing syndrome. But also, it depends on what day you take the quiz. Like, some people take the quiz a couple of times on different days and come out as different people. And this is the thing about mindset. We're not always set in one mindset, depending on the day, the time of the month, the season, what's happening in our lives. We can all be different types of mindset. So that's why it's kind of, we can see which type of mindset we are, and maybe just get some information from that to help us move forward. And that's kind of what the point of the quiz was, I suppose.
Fascinating. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. We've not got any questions. I know Laura said it was really important shifting your why questions. Yeah, I think that's really good.
In general, just shifting why to how makes a massive difference in people's lives. Yeah.
So yeah, when it came to the peacock, my thing that I saw was the planning and learning. I'm great at that, and then actually getting out there and doing it. Sometimes it's so 100%. Easy just to keep doing lists and planning and getting everything, but actually putting on my big girl pants and getting out there sometimes a bit difficult. Yeah, guilty of on that one. Yeah. Lovely. So I will pop this onto the YouTube channel and onto the Facebook page, and I think it'd be great to try and get more people to fill in the quiz and let you know what they are.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's smashing. So yeah, we'll end that session, and I'm going to come back straight away because I've got Laura's link for her her movement medicine. So I'll session come back, and I'm going to stick the link in there. So I'll see everybody in a little while, and thanks again, Jenny, for being part of this.
No problem at all. Thank you for having me.
See you later.